Okay.
Let's just see if it'll get through this last 15 minutes without crashing. And then I'll know I'm good to go probably. I'm feeling confident. 45 minutes is a long time. If it was going to crash, I would think it would have crashed already. Unless it crashes in this last 15 minutes, and then I know what's doing it. It's the record feature. So, you still there?
Okay.
Oh, is the sound choppy? Because I might have lost you for a moment.
A little bit. It's a little soundy, but
I wonder if that record feature is what's causing the audio to get choppy all of a sudden. Let me know if you're having a hard time hearing me.
all right. Okay, so I think for the last thing we're going to learn before quizzes and finals is, if I can find this, it would be, oh Jesus, I don't know, perhaps.
Just for your information, your Algebra 2 honors class is harder than college algebra.
Oh, really?
Just had a college algebra student. And she barely covered stuff that you've covered, like solving quartics using substitution, things like that. That was on the top end of her degree of difficulty.
That makes me feel a little better.
Yeah, it means you don't want to take college algebra. It's just going to be the repeat of Algebra 2 honors also. But you're not on course to take college algebra anyway. You're on course to take pre-calc, trig, and then calc. So.
Awesome.
At least that's what I'm imagining you're going to take. You're a sophomore, right?
Yeah, and so next year I have a semester of trig and a semester of calculus. And then
really? No pre-calc, huh?
Nope.
Maybe you'll get your pre-calc in the second semester this year.
I think that's what you do.
Okay. Cool. I like that.
And then
then you might even be able to take Calc BC by your senior year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's a good thing to be able to take in high school.
A bunch of AP classes, so you don't have to take college math.
Yep. You can get a lot of your college credits out of the way. All right.
Okay. It wants to do finding rational roots.
Okay.
Solving polynomial equations.
Okay. So give me the equation. Give me the polynomial.
2x to the power of 4 plus 3x cubed minus 7x squared plus 3x minus 9 is equal to 0. And it wants to find possible rational roots.
Okay. So you're familiar with the rational root theorem?
Yeah. No, not at all.
Okay. Well, what the rational root theorem says is that if you have a polynomial and there is a rational root to it, that its numerator can be represented by p, where p are all of the factors of the constant, and its denominator can be represented by q, where you got all the factors of the leading coefficient of your highest degree term. So how do we translate that? In this case, it means, well, what are the possible factors of minus 9? And these are always plus or minus, just so you know. So plus or minus 9 and plus or minus 1 and plus or minus 3. Those are the only factors of 9. In the denominator, we got all of the factors of the 2. So we got plus or minus 2 and plus or minus 1. And now let's figure out what all of the combinations we could have are. Well,
so you would have plus or minus 1. Right?
Well, let's go in order. In other words, since we have so many, start with the left over the left, and then the left over the right, and then the middle over the left, the middle over the right, and so forth and so on. That way you're sure you get them all.
Alright.
Okay, so plus or minus 9.
Over plus or, oh yeah.
What's the rest of them?
Then you have plus or minus 1 over plus or over 2.
Okay.
And then 1, plus or minus 1.
Okay.
And then plus or minus 3 over 2.
Okay.
And plus or minus 3.
Okay. So, what this theorem tells us is that one of these has to be the root, has to be the 0, if there is one. Now here's the kicker. The kicker is that because this is a quartic, there doesn't have to be a rational root. I could have 2 complex and 2 irrationals. Irrational roots always come in pairs, and complex roots always come in pairs. So with quartics, you might have no rational roots. In other words, I would go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 possible synthetic divisions to see which one of these works, and none of them might work. But they don't ask you to go through and divide it. They just want you to, they're asking for the possible roots. Well, here's the list of the possible roots.
Alright.
Okay? The beauty of cubics is that you know a cubic has 3 solutions. So it has to have a rational solution. It can't have nothing but complex and irrational because those both come in pairs. So there's no way you could have a pair of anything add up to be 3. So cubics, if this problem was just find the cubics, they would ask you to solve it instead of just listing the possible solutions. Because it's entirely possible that none of these is a solution.
Okay.
Okay? And you understand how I got the P? It's all factors of 9. And the Q is all factors of this coefficient.
Alright, and if there was no coefficient on the...
Then it would be 1.
So you just do 1, you don't move?
Uh-huh. You just put a 1 in the denominator like that, a plus or minus 1.
And then if it was 0 for, like, the last one, would you... For the P?
0 for, if there's no constant? Well, notice if there's no constant, that's not the polynomial I'm going to have to solve. I'm going to factor out an x and reduce that to a cubic, and then I'm going to have a constant.
Alright.
So to figure out, in other words, if this was the problem, I would factor out the x. What would be left over would be a cubic, and that constant would be plus 3. And so to figure out the possible rational factors of the cubic, I would use that plus 3 in my figuring. Okay, what else you got?
Let's see. We've got... Wow, this section has, like, 0 problems. Okay. 4x to the power of 4 plus 4x to the power, or 4x cubed plus 17 x squared plus 16x plus 4 equals 0.
Did I get this first coefficient right?
Uh-huh.
4? Okay, so give me the possible, and the question is to what are the possible rational factors? Or is it to find the zeros, or is it to find the rational factors?
Possible rational roots. So yeah.
Okay, so first of all, think P over Q. And what are the P's? What are the possible P's?
So plus or minus 2, and plus or minus, yeah, just plus or minus 2.
How about 4 and 1?
Oh yeah, plus or minus 4 and plus.
Okay, so those are your possible P's. What are your possible Q's? Same thing.
Same thing.
Mind your P's and Q's. And now what are the possible factors?
Plus or minus 1. plus or minus 1/2, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 2. Do you have to read them if
No,
they're
you don't repeat them, no. So this one is already accounted for, this one's already accounted for, but we do have a plus or minus 4 we can add.
And then it's accounted for, and then you have a plus or minus 1/4.
Uh-huh.
And that's it.
That's it. Those are the 10 possible rational factors.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Any last? When is your? Do you have a quiz on this coming up, or?
Yeah, we have a quiz on Wednesday. Not over this. This is just the next up in the chapter, so I assume we're covering it tomorrow.
Okay.
And then, so Wednesday is the last quiz of the semester, which is
okay. And then no new material after that, and it's just review.
Yeah, and then finals is going to be a 2-day thing because they don't just want to give us one final. So we have a written portion and the other portion, and we should get the review for it.
I'm betting one is a calculator and one is not. Maybe not, though.
I know we have a written part and a multiple choice part, and I bet they do calculator on this.
Okay.
So let's do that.
Okay. Got any last problems you want to go over, or is that it?
No.
Okay.
I'm good.
I will talk to you on Wednesday, I guess, huh?
All right, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. I'm glad it worked.
Right.
Talk to you Wednesday at 3:30.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.